Hello, my lovely family. It's another morning or another good morning that I welcome you guys to my YouTube channel, whereby for the better part of this week we have been discussing about biopsy. We know what biopsy is the preparations, the types of biopsies, and yesterday we started a brand new topic about muscle biopsy. We discussed what muscle biopsy is and the conditions which can make a doctor decide to have a muscle biopsy done on you. Today we will start by looking at risks of muscle biopsy. Risks of muscle biopsy. But before we continue, as I always say, it has always been my pleasure to appreciate you people for making me part of your family, for supporting this channel by subscribing, liking and sharing my videos. I'm not taking this for granted. Feel appreciated. And for those who have not subscribed, consider subscribing, and after you subscribe, make sure you put the notification bell on so that whenever I produce a video like this, YouTube will automatically notify you and you'll never miss any of our topic. Risks of muscle biopsy. Any medical procedure that breaks the skin carries risk of infection or bleeding. Any medical procedure that breaks the skin carries risk of infection or bleeding. Bruising is also a possibility. However, since the incision made during a muscle biopsy is small, especially for needle biopsies, the risk is much lower. Risk of muscle biopsy. Any medical procedure that breaks the skin carries the risk of infection or bleeding. Bruising is also a possibility. However, since the incision made during a muscle biopsy is small, especially for needle biopsies, the risk is much lower. Your doctor will not take a biopsy of the muscle if it was recently damaged by another procedure such as needle during an electromyography or EMG test. Your doctor will not take a biopsy of your muscle if it was recently damaged by another procedure such as needle during an electromyography, EMG test. Your doctor also will not perform biopsy if there is known muscle damage that dates back further. This is very important. Your doctor also will not perform muscle biopsy if there is known muscle damage that dates back further. So before you do a muscle biopsy, there should be no any kind of damage to the muscle. Because if there is another muscle damage and you carry a biopsy on the same muscle, this may bring other complications to the muscle. So, your doctor also will not perform biopsy if there is a known muscle damage that dates back further. There is a small chance of damage to the muscle where the needle enters. There is a small chance of damage to the muscle where the needle enters, but this is rare. There is a small chance of damage to the muscle where the needle enters, but this is rare. Always talk with your doctor about any risks before a procedure and share your concerns. Always talk with your doctor about any risks before the procedure and share your concerns. So don't fear your doctor. If you feel there is any risk or you have any concerns, before any biopsy or any medical procedure is done on your body, be free to talk with your doctor. Doctors are always human beings and they can always listen to you. They are not animals, so don't fear them. Most of you people think that whatever the doctor says is final, but if you have a concern, you can discuss with your doctor and come up with the right decision. So, always talk with your doctor about any risks before a procedure and share your concerns. How to prepare for a muscle biopsy. How to prepare for a muscle biopsy. There are two different ways to perform a muscle biopsy. How to prepare for a muscle biopsy. There are two different ways to perform a muscle biopsy. The most common method is called a needle biopsy. There are two different ways to perform a muscle biopsy, and the most common method is called a needle biopsy. For this procedure, your doctor will insert a thin needle through your skin to remove a muscle tissue. This is after a local anesthesia has been injected to numb the area. So after the area is numbed, the doctor will insert a thin needle through your skin to remove your muscle tissue. Depending on your condition, the doctor will use certain type of needle, including the following. Depending on your condition, the doctor will use certain type of needle, including number 1, core needle biopsy. Core needle biopsy. What is core needle biopsy? Medium-sized needle extracts a column of tissue similar to the way core samples are taken from the heart. In core needle biopsy, medium-sized needle extracts a column of tissue similar to the way core samples are taken from the earth. Number 2, fine needle biopsy. Fine needle biopsy. A thin needle is attached to a syringe, allowing fluids and cells to be drawn out. In fine needle biopsy, a thin needle is attached to a syringe, allowing fluids and cells to be drawn out. Number 3, image-guided biopsy. Image-guided biopsy. This type is guided with imaging procedures, for example, X-rays and CT scans, so that the doctor can avoid specific areas such as lungs, liver, and other organs. Image-guided biopsy. In image-guided biopsy, this type is guided with imaging procedures, for example, X-rays and CT scans, so that the doctor may avoid damaging specific organs, for example, lung, liver, and other organs. Vacuum-assisted biopsy. In vacuum-assisted biopsy, it uses suction from a vacuum to collect more cells. Vacuum-assisted biopsy, it uses suction from a vacuum to collect more cells. This marks the end of our video today, and we are still winding up on this topic, and tomorrow we will continue with the same topic, and I hope, guys, you are getting the kind of education you expected from this chapter, and I hope each one of you now can tell what a muscle biopsy is, the risks involved, and how to prepare for a muscle biopsy. Let's meet in our next video tomorrow.